Imagine walking into the home you waited 10 years to afford. Paper signed, keys warm in your palm. You're still unpacking the very first box, and the self-appointed block captain is already marching toward you like the neighborhood is her personal kingdom. No welcome, no congratulations, just suspicion sharpened into accusation. That's exactly what happened to Jordan Hale, a school counselor who moved into the lakeside community of Meadowbrook Crest with nothing on his mind but fresh beginnings and a quiet life. He didn't get either. The moving truck was still rolling backward when he saw her coming. Marjorie Blackwell, early 50s, tight curl bob, neon coral blazer over a pearl white blouse, stormed across the street with a clipboard hugged to her chest like a weapon. Every step of her heels hit the pavement like she was issuing commands. "Hey! Hey! What do you think you're doing?" she barked before reaching the driveway. Jordan froze mid-lift, a box labeled bed linens in his arms. He blinked. "Good morning," he said with a polite smile. "I'm Jordan, just moved in yesterday." Marjorie didn't acknowledge his smile, or his words, or the fact that he was literally carrying sheets into the house he just bought. Instead, she narrowed her eyes at him like she was scanning for a crime. "That's impossible," she snapped. "The previous owners promised to notify the block council before selling. You're not on any authorized list." Jordan exhaled slowly. "I have the closing documents if you'd like to see." "No." She leaned in sharply. "This neighborhood has standards. We approve who moves here, and we certainly don't allow surprises." The way she said the word made the movers pause mid-step. Jordan set down the box. "I purchased the home legally." But Marjorie was already pulling out her phone. "This is clearly a break-in," she declared loudly, projecting her voice so every curtain on the street fluttered. "You people think you can just show up with a truck and pretend you belong here. Not in Meadowbrook Crest." Jordan felt heat rise in his chest. Insult, disbelief, anger. But he swallowed it. The movers exchanged looks like they'd witnessed this type of harassment too many times. Marjorie dialed 911 dramatically, pacing in a frantic circle. "Yes, emergency. A man is trying to illegally occupy the Hawthorne property. Send officers immediately." Jordan didn't move. He just breathed. 12 minutes later, the cruisers arrived. Same story, different neighborhood. "That's him!" she screeched, pointing like she'd caught a fugitive. "He's breaking in!" The officers approached Jordan calmly. "Sir, do you have proof of ownership?" Jordan pulled up. Digital deed. Closing documents. County transfer record. The officers examined everything. One officer finally nodded. "This is valid. Mr. Hale legally owns this property." Marjorie's face twitched. No, that can't be right. Check again." "Ma'am, this is a false report. Do not call 911 unless there is an actual emergency." The words hit her like a slap. She swallowed hard, then leaned toward Jordan with a venomous whisper. "You won't last here." Then she turned, stiff and furious, and marched back across the street. Jordan watched her go. He dealt with bullies before, dozens of them, but nothing like this. The kind who wielded fake authority like a badge and treated their personal prejudice like community policy. The next morning, the games began. A bright red notice was taped to his mailbox. Unauthorized parking, fine $350. He hadn't even parked in the driveway yet. Then a second notice appeared on his door. Non-compliant house color, fine $500. Jordan stood there staring at the paper like it was written in a different language. He hadn't painted anything. The house was the same color when he bought it. By day 3, he had 5 notices totaling $2,750. Every one handwritten by Marjorie, Everyone with rules he had never heard of, everyone clearly designed to push him out. Jordan didn't yell, didn't beg, didn't argue. He did what he always did when something didn't make sense. He started digging. And what he found was the crack in Meadowbrook Crest's foundation that Marjorie hoped no one would ever discover. Because the one thing she valued most, the one thing she weaponized every day, was built on a lie she never expected someone like Jordan to uncover.
Jordan didn't sleep that night. Not out of fear, but focus. He sat at his kitchen island with his laptop, scrolling through document after document, tracing the block council Marjorie bragged about like it was her personal government. And the deeper he went, the more the truth unraveled. Meadowbrook Crest looked like a normal suburban community, but legally, it wasn't. The land, the streets, the green spaces, even the pathways behind the homes, they were all owned by a single entity. North Point Residential Holdings, the original developer. The block council that Marjorie chaired wasn't a government structure. It wasn't even a legal HOA. It was a volunteer club formed 13 years ago when Marjorie decided the neighborhood needed better guidance. No charter, no voting system, no regulatory authority, just a woman with a clipboard and a loud voice who convinced people she had power. Her rules meant nothing. Her fines meant nothing. Her authority was imaginary. But North Point Residential Holdings, now that was real. Jordan dug further. The developer was in financial collapse, drowning in debt from failed projects. They needed buyers, fast ones. And Jordan knew a thing or two about acquisitions. He wasn't the CEO of a counseling firm. That was his day job. But on the side, he ran a small investment group, one that specialized in distressed property takeovers. By sunrise, he knew exactly what he needed to do. The takeover. Jordan made a single offer on North Point, a rescue package with guaranteed payout. Simple, clean, irresistible to a drowning company. He didn't even have to negotiate. One signature later, every property, every common area, every road, every legal right connected the Meadowbrook Crest transferred to Jordan Hale's ownership group, including the land beneath Marjorie's house, including the streets she patrolled like a self-appointed sheriff, including the so-called council headquarters, which was really just a converted garage she held meetings in. He didn't say a word. Not yet. The confrontation. The next morning, Jordan walked across the street and knocked on Marjorie Blackwell's door. Her silhouette appeared instantly, stiff, agitated, already prepared for a fight she thought she'd win. She flung the door open. "You again," she snapped. "Did you come to complain about your fines? I can assure you, there will be more today." Jordan remained calm, hands in his pockets. "Marjorie, you need to stop placing notices on my house. You have no legal authority over this neighborhood." She laughed, sharp, mocking, dripping with entitlement. "You think I don't? I run this block. I decide what happens here, and you, Jordan Hale, don't get to tell me anything. Not in my neighborhood." He nodded slowly. "Actually, the neighborhood isn't yours." Her smile faltered. Jordan pulled out a neatly folded stack of documents. "My investment group acquired North Point Residential Holdings yesterday, which means everything they owned now belongs to us." Marjorie blinked like she couldn't process words anymore. "That includes the land under your home. So unless you stop the harassment, the fake fines, the notices, we'll terminate your lease agreement for noncompliance." Marjorie's face twisted. "You're bluffing." "I'm not." He handed her the paperwork. She snatched it, eyes darting across the page. Then her jaw dropped. "This is fake!" she shrieked. "It's all filed with the county." "You can't evict me," she stepped forward, rage returning with full force. "You're nothing. I run things here." Jordan didn't flinch. Not anymore. She slammed the door in his face. By sunset, Jordan's front porch was blanketed in neon-colored notices. 9 of them. Violations like wind chimes audible from sidewalk, doormat improperly aligned with doorframe, unapproved breathing on public walkway. Yes, she wrote that. Total fines, $6,450. The woman had snapped. But that was her final mistake. Jordan drafted a formal termination of occupancy, stamped, notarized, filed, legal. He placed it on Marjorie's door. 5 minutes later, the screaming began. She stormed across the street, fists pounding against his door. "You can't do this! I am the block captain! I built this community!" Jordan opened the door calmly. "No, Marjorie, you controlled people. You bullied them. You made up rules to terrorize neighbors. That ends today." She shook with rage. "I'm calling the police." She dialed, on speaker, yelling so loudly that residents began stepping outside. The same 2 officers from Jordan's first day arrived. Marjorie sprinted toward them. "Arrest him! He's trying to evict me illegally. He forged documents." The officers turned to Jordan. He handed them the acquisition documents, the county filings, the termination notice. All clean, all legal. The officers read in silence. Then one turned to her. "Ma'am, you don't have authority here. The block council isn't recognized by the county. This eviction is valid." Marjorie's eyes widened with terror she'd never felt before. "And," the officer added, "you filed another false emergency report. Again, put your hands behind your back." No, you can't. I am the block captain." "You have the right to remain silent." Her voice cracked. Neighbors recorded as the woman who ruled the street with fear was led into the patrol car. Her reign ended exactly where it began, standing on a street she thought she owned, staring at a man she once tried to drive out, realizing he now owned everything she pretended to control.